One of the most controversial elements in the Mario Kart franchise has to be the battle modes. Almost anyone who's played a Mario Kart title has enjoyed the battle mode, but the controversy comes from which battle modes they enjoyed. See, unlike the racing, which have had pretty much the same rules throughout the majority of the series, the battle mode can drastically change between games. This leads to some people significantly enjoying certain battle modes more than others. Some enjoy Mario 64's best because of the bomb mechanic, some like DS's best because of Shine Runners, and some like Mario Kart 8's best. Yeah, we don't talk to those people. Personally, I'm a big fan of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's as it has the most battle modes in the series. However, that's not to say that every battle mode has returned. Today, I want to take a look at the previous Mario Kart titles and go over the battle modes they had that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe does not. On top of that though, I'm also going to cover how the battle modes that are in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe changed from those older titles as well. So think of this video as a mini retrospective on the older battle modes and my opinions on them. I'll also state which I want to come back in the future and which I think are most likely. Seeing as the Booster Course Pass has added several surprise updates, changes to the battle mode wouldn't surprise me, so I'll mention if it's possible for an old mode or rule set to come back. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into the first title, Super Mario Kart. Being the very first entry in the series, this obviously has the most simple battle mode of the bunch. Somehow not the worst though. This only has one battle mode to choose from, that being Balloon Battle. This is in every single Mario Kart game, so that makes sense. Now, if you haven't played these older games, you may think that means there isn't anything to talk about here. I mean, Balloon Battle is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so it's not cut. Well, remember, I said we'd be mentioning rule changes as well, and there are quite a lot here. While both modes are about hitting your opponent with items to pop their balloons, pretty much everything else about it has changed. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you win by getting the most hits on your opponents within the time limit. If you lose all your balloons though, your score gets cut in half before you respawn. This is entirely different in Super Mario Kart, as the goal here is to be the last man standing. If you lose all of your balloons, you just lose, and the last player to still be on the course is the winner. This is where the most controversy for battle mode comes from. A lot of people really prefer the old last man standing approach, whereas others like the new approach as it means you get to play for the whole match. My personal stance on this is a bit mixed. For one, I think the old method creates significantly more intense scenarios. It's really fun to try and evade your friends to be the last one standing. On the other hand though, the new method is much better for online play. You don't want to end up losing in a battle mode match and having to watch people fight for 3 hours. So what would be my solution to this? Just have both. Like, I cannot imagine it would be hard to implement a last man standing variation. Even if they keep it exclusively for offline or online with friends, that's better than not having it at all. I completely understand why some people think the older battle modes are better purely because of how much fun the old one could be. So yeah, my suggestion is to just implement an option to disable the timer and leave it as a last man standing mode. I mean, that's basically what the Smash Bros series has been doing since the start, having both a mode based on KOs and a last man standing option. This I do legitimately think has a chance of coming in the last wave of the Booster Course Pass. It's been the #1 complaint about this game pretty much since launch, so it would make a lot of people happy if they updated it. There are a few other rule changes in Super Mario Kart that are worth mentioning though. First off, it couldn't be played in single player. Sorry to all of you lonely people watching this video. The reason is because you can't have computer players battling with you, only other people. That also means that the max amount of players in a battle mode match was 2, which I think we can all agree is 100% a downgrade. You can still disable computers if you want to in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so modern Mario Kart is definitely winning there. Also, I went to the wiki to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I found these plushies of Bowser. What did they do to you? Next up, Mario Kart 64, which I hear a lot of people claim to be one of the best, if not the best battle modes in the series. Once again, we just have one battle mode being Balloon Battle. This has a lot of similarities to Super Mario Kart's version. It's based on last man standing and can only be played in multiplayer with no CPUs. What really makes this battle mode different comes down to how many players can play. We go from a max of 2 to a whopping 4. Okay, despite that not seeming like a lot, this does have some major implications. Obviously, if there are only 2 people playing, as soon as someone loses all their balloons, the match just ends. With 4 people though, you need 3 people to go out before the game is over, so what happens to those who go out before the match ends? Well, in this game, they get to transform into a bomb car. While they have already lost and can't win anymore, this does give them a chance to influence the outcome of the match. They can be stunned if they get hit, but I'm sure you all can guess what happens if they manage to run into a player. I think that's a fantastic way to keep the other players at least a little engaged, even if they're already out. Sadly, they can only explode once, but I guess that's kinda fair since you don't want the bomb cars to have full control over the outcome. Now, before scripting, I thought the bomb cars were the only difference worth mentioning, but there is another mechanic in this battle mode that I find to be very strange. Apparently, if a heavy character runs into a lightweight character with enough speed, the lightweight character will lose a balloon. I have never heard anyone talk about this, nor have I seen it before in my time playing this battle mode. I mean, my brother and I just play Mario and Luigi, so I guess that makes sense. I'm sure you Bowser players love this mechanic. Personally, I'm fine with that never returning, nor do I think it will anyway. Mario Kart Super Circuit is game number 3 with just Balloon Battle. This one is going to be pretty quick since it's essentially the exact same as Mario Kart 64. You can play with up to 4 players and no less than 2. It's based around last man standing, and losing all of your balloons will turn you into a bomb. This is where a majority of the differences come in with this mode. For starters, instead of being a bomb car, this is just straight up a bomb that can run around, which I think looks pretty funny. Most importantly though, the bomb car can actually respawn after exploding. Aww. Sadly, the bomb car will also explode when running into items this time, not just players, so getting hit this time is a bit more detrimental. But that's basically all the changes I could find for this mode. I do kind of like the bomb changes, so if the last man standing mode does come back, I hope this version of the bomb gets added because I think it could be pretty fun. Now we're on to our first big game with Mario Kart Double Dash. This game has 3 different battle modes: Balloon Battle, Shine Thief, and Bomb Blast. All 3 of these are in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but they are a bit different, so let's take a look at each of them. Balloon Battle is very similar to our last 3 once again, being last man standing based. This time though, if you get out, you don't come back as a bomb car. Oh well, skill issue, shouldn't have lost. On to our first battle mode that's not balloon based though. Shine Thief is one of my favorites in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. In both modes, the goal is to hold a shine until the timer hits 0, but if you get hit, you lose the shine and other people can pick it up. This is always super intense, especially when it gets down to the wire. While conceptually these two are quite similar, there are actually a decent amount of differences in Mario Kart Double Dash. For example, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, everyone has their own 20-second timer, so the first time someone picks it up will always start at 20. If you get hit and then pick up the shine later, you'll continue your countdown from where you left off before. In Double Dash though, everyone shares the same timer and it starts at 50 seconds instead of 20. Now this timer can't start below 15, so if someone gets hit while they have, say, 5 seconds left, the timer will jump back up to 15. I think this is a kind of interesting way to go about it, but in all honesty, I definitely prefer Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's version. It feels more intense and works a lot better for its larger number of characters, because remember, Double Dash is still stuck at a maximum of 4 racers. Technically it's 8 racers since every kart has 2 people. The fact that the timer jumps all the way up to 15 seconds each time the shine is dropped can make this mode take quite a while, so I'm more than happy to keep what we have in 8 Deluxe. The final battle mode for this game was Bomb Blast. This is the mode that is probably the most drastically different between here and its modern incarnation. As the name implies, this is all about bombs, which means there's going to be a lot of explosions. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, this is essentially just Balloon Battle, but the only items are bombs that can't damage the player who threw it, along with being able to hold up to 10. That is not at all what the Double Dash version is like. Yes, bombs are still the only item here, and they don't deal damage to the person who threw it. You can even still hold 10 of them, though only 5 per character. While that is all basically the same, the main goal is not. Instead of being based on the number of hits within a time limit, you have to try and be the first person to reach a certain point total. In 2-player, you need 3 points, but in 3 or 4 players, you need 4 points. The way you get points is obviously by hitting people, however you also lose points by getting hit as well. This leads to a very interesting battle where the players are all going constantly back and forth to try and edge each other out for a victory. I actually really like this rule set, and I think it should come back in 8 Deluxe. Definitely as an option though, instead of the whole mode. I like the KO based version we have now, but I think this point system could actually be really fun to play with as well. It may be hard since you have to account for 12 people instead of 4, but just having the option would be nice. Now we have the battle mode that I have probably played the most out of any of them, that being the one found in Mario Kart DS. I absolutely love playing Balloon Battle with my family, so I have a pretty big soft spot for this. That's not to say I had to play with my family though, as this is our first battle mode that can actually be played in single player. What do I even need you for? That means we could play with up to 8 total racers, as CPUs could play as well now, alongside people connecting with local play. I should also mention that this game has 2 battle modes, but we'll start with Balloon Battle first. Once again, this is based on the last man standing, however the way the balloons work is very interesting. You start the race with only 1 balloon instead of the 3 we've seen in every single other Mario Kart. However, you may notice that there are 4 balloons at the top. These balloons are in reserve and can be activated by blowing into the microphone. That means you technically start with 5 balloons. Now at first this may just seem like a really stupid gimmick they threw on for kids to blow into the microphone. Okay, well it definitely is. But there is actually some strategy here. See, the less balloons you have, the better items you'll get. So you can play a bit risky and not blow up all your balloons to get better items. But of course that comes with the chance of dying easier, as if you run out of balloons, even with some in reserve, you'll lose. I really like this risk-reward situation. It adds a lot of depth to the game. While I don't think this will return in 8 Deluxe, I hope they come up with a way to add it back in the next game. Preferably not with the microphone though, I don't need people blowing into my controllers. That's not the only difference in this mode though, as we also have to see what happens to the losers that die. They'll come back as a ghost where they can all drop item boxes on top of people. Yeah, gonna be honest, that's super lame. Being a bomb car was way more fun. I mean, if you're dead, I'm sure you'd rather get revenge than help people, so this change is a bit confusing, but it's better than Double Dash's approach of just letting people do nothing. That brings us to Mario Kart DS's second battle mode, and also the only battle mode in the series to not make it to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That mode is Shine Runners. Not to be confused with Shine Thief we've mentioned before, this also has us collecting shine sprites, but in a much different way. In fact, I'd say this is more similar to an entirely different battle mode, that being Coin Runners. Yeah, so in this mode you have to collect as many shine sprites as you can before the time limit expires, which is exactly the same as coin runners. If you get hit here, you'll also lose a shine, just like how you lose coins in coin runners. Yeah, that's kinda disappointing. Wait, what? Okay, so this mode is actually kinda cool. Instead of the game just ending when the time limit expires, the players with the least amount of shines are eliminated and the game continues on. This goes on until there's only one person left, and honestly, I think that's a much better way to handle this type of collecting mode. While I definitely prefer Balloon Battle in DS, this mode ain't bad either. Certainly better than coin runners, which makes me sad that it's in more games. I also don't really see this coming back to 8 since we have both a shine and collection mode in the game already, but I would definitely be happy to see it. If it did get added to 8 Deluxe, it would probably get a reskin though to differentiate it from Shine Thief, so maybe Mario Odyssey Moons could be collected instead. Personally, I'd be a big fan of that. Mario Kart Wii's battle mode sucks. Like, I'm just gonna say it how it is. Easily one of the worst in the series. The original 8 battle mode may be the only one worse than it, and even then, I could see an argument for Wii being worse. But why is that? I mean, Wii does have actual battle courses, something that the original 8 can't say. Well, that all comes down to what this video is about, the format and rules of its battle mode. First, let's start with the Balloon Battle. This is the first game to adopt the system we see in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where winning is based on how many hits you're able to get. Now, I did say at the start of this video that despite it being different, I do like this way to play, so why am I hating so hard on Mario Kart Wii? Well, you know how every battle mode before this let you fight against everyone in a free-for-all? Yeah, for some reason they made teams the only way to play.
Together we're stronger!
There is no way to turn this off even if you wanted to, which means you are forced to do a 6v6.
Together we're stronger!
Oh yeah, and since only 4 people can play on one Wii together, you are guaranteed to have at least 8 CPUs playing the game with you. Now I'm sure there are people that like playing in teams.
Together we're stronger!
But not having the option to play by yourself against friends is terrible. Since you're on teams with CPUs, by the way, that means you are barely able to affect the outcome of a match, since you could play so well, but the rest of your team fumbles so hard that it doesn't even matter. Together we're stronger. I really don't understand the decision here, and I really hope this never comes back. The only other real difference is the fact that when you lose all of your balloons in this mode, your team only loses 1 point instead of half, which is basically nothing. Yeah, let's just move on. The other battle mode in Mario Kart Wii is Coin Runner. This one also sucks, and has the exact same problems as Balloon Battle. It's forced into team mode with no way to turn off CPUs. Besides that, the mechanics are basically the same as the 8 Deluxe version, which means it's bad. Let's just hope this team thing never comes back. Mario Kart 7 is going to be a real quick one since its 2 battle modes are incredibly similar to 8 Deluxe's. Balloon Battle is essentially exactly the same, just with a max of 8 racers instead of 12. Very happy to not be stuck on teams though. Coin Runners, however, did receive a change, and it's a very odd one. So the whole point of the game is to collect as many coins as possible until the time limit expires. But for some reason, you can't get more than 10 coins here. That just means there's either going to be a ton of draws, or someone will hit 10 and then camp for the rest of the game since there's no reason to engage after that. You know, this video is slowly making me appreciate the coin runners in 8 Deluxe. It's insane that its other variations are so terrible. But here we have it, the final game to take a look at, Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. As I've alluded to several times in this video, it's the worst battle mode. That primarily comes down to one thing, the courses. Obviously, that's not what this video is about, but it's kind of hard to ignore them because they're literally just tracks recycled for this mode, which is very embarrassing. Don't worry though, as there were actually some changes to the mode itself from this game to Deluxe. There's only one battle mode this time, that of course being Balloon Battle. Now we've seen 2 different types of this mode so far, either last man standing or KOs. The Mario Kart 8 version is a freakish monstrosity that tries to mix the 2 together. The goal is to get the highest number of KOs within the time limit, but this time, if you lose all of your balloons, you don't respawn. That is like the absolute worst of both worlds. The advantage of the last man standing approach is that it provides for some much more intense death matches, but the KO mode is good for players that want to play the whole time without being eliminated. This removes both of the mode's advantages and pretty much just takes their worst aspects. I can't fathom how anyone thought this was a good way to implement this. I mean, there could be scenarios where someone has the most KOs, dies, but still wins anyway because there weren't enough points on the course to beat them. Like, it's so incredibly stupid. If you're going to do one of these modes, do one or the other. Don't try and combine them because it will not work. Now, if you lose all your balloons in multiplayer or teams, you do get to come back as a ghost. This allows you to hit other players, which is kinda nice I guess, but you can't get any more points. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has the much better version. But anyways, that's it for this video. Have you always dreamed of delivering item boxes and hate me for saying it's lame? Let me know in the comments. This was just meant to be a shorter video after my last one turned out much longer than I thought, but I actually learned quite a bit from researching this. Hopefully you all did as well. I really enjoy doing this cut series and learning about older games. But anyways, dry bones for Smash, and I'll see you guys next time.